Where's Stevie? She would normally lick this up. Oh, God. All right, guys, so yes, I'm in a new kitchen. This is a new kitchen, although it looks similar to another kitchen that I had a while ago, doesn't it? Just gonna be a mystery to you. If you actually want to know what's going on, you can sign up for my Eat It by Hot for Food member platform. It's a member-only blog. It's a paid blog where you'll get exclusive recipes and a very exclusive issue that's out now called the Life-Changing Issue, where I actually tell you about how my life has changed. And maybe your life will change too from some of the content. So you gotta become an annual member for $41.50, or which gives you access to everything, and there's already like 10 issues, I think, up there, or 8 issues. Lots of recipes that are otherwise not available. Or you can buy this issue on its own, $12.99, and then get access to all the content. And it's actually all vlog video content, which I don't normally do. I've been only doing 1 video per issue, and this one is sort of content that I would have otherwise put on Lauren in Real Life, my personal YouTube channel, but I decided to give it to members only. Of course, as a business model, as a way to make money, because it has been a bit of a drought as of late, because I went and had a child, and as you know, taken a bit of a step back from here. I just shot a member video actually for Japanese wedge salad, so you can get that recipe if you sign up for the issue. And then I was like, you know what, I'm all done and ready, we might as well shoot something else. Now I should put my hair up because I am gonna cook. Let me go get an elastic. Because I get in trouble when I don't have my hair up and I'm cooking, and people think, oh, you're getting hair in the food. And it's like, well, you're not eating the food, so what do you care? I've been on YouTube now, what is about 9 years, guys. I don't know if you're aware of that. Probably some of you are maybe just finding this. I don't know. If you've been here from the beginning, you really should become a member of Eat It by Hot for Food. That would show your support in a really great way. But yes, I do make a little bit of money here on YouTube. I've never made a ton of money from YouTube ad content. When I get sponsored stuff, I actually make a decent amount of money, but that is few and far between. That's not like I have sponsored stuff all the time. That's why I started the member platform, because I really needed something to put my passion into where I felt like I was getting fairly compensated for the amount of work I was doing. And sometimes YouTube doesn't feel like that, especially when you are doing a lot of stuff for free. And at this point I'm just rambling, but it's because I feel like I haven't been here in so long that I like have to explain myself. But what I actually wanted to do was just cook today, and kind of like my old segment recipe where I would just pull out whatever and make whatever. It's kind of that, but then I thought I would just call it stupid simple recipes, or like this is stupid simple vegan food, because it's just like, what do I want to eat right now, and I'll just whip it up. So again, no recipe per se, but based on what I just want to eat right now. And I was thinking about what I want to eat, and I kind of want soup. It's been like cold and rainy here in LA, although this is like the first sunny day, and like I'm craving soup because I actually haven't eaten soup in a long time for some reason. And I was thinking lasagna soup, which has kind of been going sort of viral online recently. And I have that in my book, Vegan Comfort Classics, which you can make, comforting lasagna soup, red sauce, traditional. But I was like, what if I make a white lasagna soup with a white creamy base broth? And I got some shiitake mushrooms. So that's what I'm gonna make. I think it's stupid simple. You might be like, this is not simple at all. But for someone who has now put in her like 10, 20,000 hours of being a self-taught vegan chef, it's simple to me. And from the beginning, this is what I have tried to encourage, is just to start cooking. Just start cooking. It becomes so much easier once you get the hang of it. The more you do it, it becomes easier. And it's just really important to me to feed myself, and I think it's something all people should become empowered to do. You don't have to make gourmet meals 7 nights a week, but you should cook for yourself as often as possible. It's healthier, it's more affordable, plus it's satisfying and it's rewarding and it's empowering. I think that's the most important part. And I think people who have been here for a long time always say, I learned how to cook because of you. You taught me how. Hot for Food taught me. And that is why I'm here. That's what I want to do, is I want to teach you how to do this, because it is stupid simple once you know what you're doing. And I get that you don't start out that way, but if you just watch some videos, and I'm not saying just watch Hot for Food, because there's obviously an enormous amount of content online on TikTok where, you know, you can learn as well. But I'm just saying, I'm like one of the OGs, and I'm one of the best. If you want to learn how to cook really good vegan food, this is the place to be. Go through my archives. I have so many recipes on hotforfoodblog.com, my free blog on my channel. Whatever's on the channel is often on the blog. And then I have the member blog on top of that has now over 55 recipes that aren't published anywhere else. So I'm going to stop talking, even though I'm going to continue to talk throughout my cooking of this white lasagna soup, and let's see what happens. I feel like I'm kind of starting from the beginning. I feel like this is like my first video ever in a way, because I've been gone for so long. Everyone says, oh, I've changed and it's not, Hot for Food's not the same. You know what? And it shouldn't be. It should not be the same. But it is obviously new and I'm different and I've grown and my life is completely different and we're in a new phase, and I'm obviously a better cook than I was 9 and a bit years ago. So, I mean, am I even doing my math right? What am I saying? When did I start this? Oh yeah, I started YouTube in 2014. So yeah, but I've been vegan for 13 years. Okay, let's do this. Dutch oven. This is a large stock pot, 10 quart or something, 10 and a quarter inch, 26 quart, I don't know what size it is. It's a big stock pot. That's what I'm gonna use to cook in. It's a little dry, it's enameled cast iron, so I'm gonna oil it a little. So I should have seasoned this before, but anyway, you just sort of wanna get it oiled so it's not dry. We'll end up adding more oil to cook with. And now let's just get stuff ready. I took out of the fridge some shiitake mushrooms. I don't have carrots, so I've got celery and onion. Normally you would do celery, carrot, onion as your, the name's not coming to me, doesn't matter. Garlic, I have this pre-minced garlic in a jar because I test a lot of recipes and I don't want to be mincing fresh garlic all the time. That's just me. So I measure it and I give you a tablespoon amount and then an approximate of how many cloves that is. Just so you know when you're making recipes from me. I took out my vegan, no chicken broth bouillon, because that's gonna be the base for the stock. This is a new jar. This is a brand I've never tried actually, so we'll try that. I've also got lasagna noodles. This is a box that's half empty that I used for a lasagna, so it's good to use up leftovers. I got some flour for thickening. We will need some hot water, so I'm gonna boil the kettle. My first time in this new kitchen and I don't quite know how to use the space properly. All right, let's just cut up this stuff. Now, I don't know that I'm gonna make a lot because I don't have a lot of veg. And a la recipe, I'm just kind of using up what I have. I just recorded a whole thing and it didn't record it. So, amazing. Basically, I was talking while I was chopping up my celery, my onion, my shiitake. I got some carrots out of the freezer. And then I was talking about how I hate this camera. It just like turns off. I don't understand. What I was saying was that I wish somebody would shoot this for me, because trying to run 2 cameras and operate my own audio, and sometimes I set up lights but I can't be bothered, and cook and talk and all this, it drives me insane, which is why I basically stopped making content. Yeah, I need somebody to work for cheap. Camera people are expensive, obviously. They're talented. If you want to work for cheap, you think you could be good at this and you could just float around with a camera and follow me while I cook, hit me up. Because trying to do this all myself drives me absolutely bonkers. And then of course the camera stops working. Maybe I have to get a new camera, but I don't know why it just turns off in the middle of recording when the battery's full. Okay, I want to cook my mushrooms, so let's go. I'm cooking the mushrooms first because I want to get them like seared, and that's not going to happen if I saute the celery, onions, and carrots and then it's all wet in there and then the mushrooms won't get nice and brown. So I'm going to do these first in essentially like a dry pan with just that bit of olive oil that I put in there to season the pan. That way they won't get absorbed with too much oil. They'll get seared and brown. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. We can season the mushrooms though with salt and pepper. So I'm gonna season these like meat. Okay, so I've got fresh thyme in the fridge. Just gonna pick off the leaves and throw them in here. Sometimes even the tender part of the stem you can just chop up and throw that in there. Or you can take each thing and go like this with your fingers and discard the stem. But the tender part of the stem is really fine to just throw in there. Fresh thyme, of course, is better than dry, but if you only have dry, go ahead. So as you can see, I'm not touching these or stirring these around too much. I want them to sear, and shiitakes don't have much liquid to begin with, but that is what you're trying to get out of them first. I kind of want a lot of thyme. Dried oregano, that's kind of a lasagna flavor, right? Okay, let's give them a toss and see what they look like now. You can even go to like a medium high, but enamel cast iron gets very hot. So it's starting to smoke a little, but these are getting brown. Actually, I'm gonna make a small portion of this soup because I would want more mushrooms in here. Or like I said, you could add something like an Impossible ground meat. I have it, but it's not thawed, so I don't wanna use it right now. Actually, you know what? Now that those are mostly browned, now we can go in with the onion and the celery, okay? So you don't need to take them out of the pan. Of course, I'm figuring this out as I go. But soup is one where you kind of just can make it up as you go. Now the problem with these kinds of videos where I don't actually develop the recipe with measurements is then I don't have anything to put on the actual blog, which is unfortunate. Because directing traffic to a blog is another way to make money. It's another necessity of monetizing what I do. Okay, so once those mushrooms, because they're mostly dried out, now you can add more oil. I'm adding a bit of olive oil. We're gonna add the carrot. So let those sweat out and cook down. We can add our garlic now. I'm gonna add quite a bit because going in with my knife, like a good 2 tablespoons or so of garlic, because this is a white sauce, white lasagna soup. We're not relying on tomato here, so we want garlic coming through. Oh my God. Leave all this shit in of me screwing up because I want people to see like how annoying it is to make videos. That's a note to my editor. I do pay for an editor because I used to edit everything and that's when I got fully burnt out. Editing takes hours and hours and hours and I can't do it all. I have a great editor now though. Anyway, maybe I'm complaining, but I'm just trying to let you in on like what it's actually like to do this, to actually create this content. It's not easy. I would like to manifest it being easier. I'm not sure it's ever been easy. It's been challenging from the beginning, but I used to have like more of a team back in Canada. That made it easier. Let's let this cook down. What else are we adding to this? Broth, spinach. I'm trying to see what else I have here. You know, I do feel like it's missing like a meatiness, and I have these Italian vegan sausageless sausages, so I think I'm gonna brown those and put that in there. So I would have browned that earlier. I'm gonna do it in a separate pan. The other thing with the meatless meat is oftentimes I don't like to have it sitting in liquid for a long time because it gets soggy. So it actually is better to brown it separately and then add it in for serving the soup. I think these will help it a little bit. All right, so let's heat up a bit of oil, just a bit, and then I'm going to crumble this sausage, which is very mushy actually. Never tried these from Trader Joe's. Put it in this pan here. This is a weird texture. It's very squishy. Maybe browning it will be okay. Pan's not hot, but that will get browned up. Over here now, we are going to add our broth or our bouillon base. I think this color is not great. The one by Better Than Bouillon is lighter in color. I'm afraid this is gonna taint our soup. This is very orangey, but let's add a little bit and see what happens. It says to use teaspoon to every cup of water. So let's add 3 teaspoons. Yeah, I like the Better Than Bouillon one. Now let's add our water. I like adding hot water. Okay, so I'm adding that. I'm bringing it to a boil. I'm adding my noodles now, my lasagna noodles. I don't really know how much this is, but we're gonna break up the lasagna noodles in the soup into sort of strips, pieces, hunks, whatever you want to call them. These are gonna take about 10 to 12 minutes to cook properly. Halfway through, I'll add cheese, cream. I'll make this into a white lasagna soup, I promise. Right now it's orange from that stock. I want lots of nudes. We could always add more like liquid, right, if we need to. It's also gonna thicken up from the pasta cooking right in there. So just let this boil and cook these noodles. And then we'll assess the situation. I guess this is just recipe because it's actually turning out to not be so simple. If you've been here since the OG recipe, the first one or like the first ones, leave a comment. Let people know what they've been missing. I feel like I have to attract a whole new audience here on YouTube because whoever's been around kind of left, I left. You lost faith in me. And now there's new people watching here, coming around to the channel, seeing my shorts. I have to post YouTube shorts. That's all I've had the capacity to do. And of course, YouTube is pushing that, so I'm doing that. And I think new people are finding the channel and then I don't have any long form content for them to see. Now that my child is in daycare and I have my days freer, I'm intending to work on this channel again. I turn the heat down, it's browning. The pan's very hot. Let's get the other sides browned up. This is more for texture. I don't even know that this has that much flavor added to it, but we'll just let it get browned up in there. I'm trying to make sure that the noodles aren't sticking in here, so I'm just sort of separating them as I stir. It isn't hot for food unless something spills. I just took out all this stuff to make the creamy part, and then my sour cream just fell on the floor and splashed on the back of my leg and everything else. I mean, this is me all the time, but I will say that I'm a little out of practice and I'm in a new space and I'm not used to the new space. And I'm finding obviously it's less space, so I do not like galley kitchens. So I got out almond milk. I got out Kite Hill sour cream. This is almond based. What is this? Almond based and coconut. I also got out a little bit of this cashew plain yogurt from Trader Joe's, and then I have Tabitha Brown's vegan garlic cream cheese spread. All of this will help this become a creamy, white, delicious, hopefully worth it lasagna soup. We're getting low on liquid. The noodles need to cook more, so I'm going to start adding stuff here, like almond milk. I'm gonna add some of this cream cheese because it's garlicky. In fact, I'm gonna add the rest of the container. That's just gonna melt in there in true recipe fashion. Just throwing shit in a pot. I'm gonna add the sour cream for some tanginess. I'm gonna add the rest of it. There's about, I don't know, throw that all in there. Let's make this a fatty soup. All right. Still not really white because that stock is so brown, but if we had have used better than bouillon, it would have been the right. Ugh, you know what? I made a lasagna soup in one of these already. This is even stupider if I already made this. Didn't I do this during quarantine? Oh, I'm gonna be mad at myself if I'm basically repeating myself. You know what? You probably never saw that video, so who cares? Looking white now. The sausage is very cooked. I'm just gonna throw it in here while this continues to cook the noodles because it's kind of overdone at this point. So it doesn't really matter if it gets... Oh my God, I feel like I made this with Beyond Sausage in another video. I'm gonna add the spinach I wanted to add. I also have parsley. Where's my spinach? I'm also gonna taste this to see if I can add more water. That tastes really good. Of course it does, because I made it. I have parsley in the fridge. I have spinach here. Let's add that. Spinach shrinks, just add all of it. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to cover those noodles. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper. More pepper. Lots of pepper. Never get tired of the pepper. Ooh, that's looking the right color to me now. Those noodles just need a little longer. Whatever, I'm just using whatever, this little bit of sour cream that fell onto the lid. Just add that. Let's add some vegan parm shreds from Trader Joe's. Those will melt and get nice, make it a little gooey. And I still never was able to write down a recipe, which is unfortunate. Yeah, that's good. Parsley. I just do stems and all, whatever. Just finely chop it. This you kind of just want to stir in at the end. Let's see where we're at with these noodles. I think this might be like perfect. Turn that down a bit, really bubbling. Now these are hot as hell. Yeah. That's it, stir in the parsley now. All right, let's plate this up. Vegan white lasagna soup. Hell yeah. This is so good. And I checked my old video. I didn't make this yet. This is vegan white lasagna soup. Back in pandemic days, I took my original lasagna soup from Vegan Comfort Classics. I turned it back into beef and cheese rosé lasagna, and then I used the leftover rosé sauce to make a creamier version of the leftover soup. So it's not this recipe. My task now is to figure out what this recipe actually is and write it out for you. And I'd like to know, do we continue to call this kind of segment where I'm just winging it? Do we call it recipe, which is what it's always been called? Often imitated, never duplicated, by the way. Or do we call it like what I want to eat? Because it's just what I want to eat. This is really what I wanted to eat. Which will be different. It means I come to the table with an idea, but I just don't have a recipe. So it's like a hybrid version. I tried to change this thing to be called Level Up Your Leftovers, because leveling up your leftovers is what I called it in my second cookbook, Hot for Food All Day, because I couldn't call it recipe, even though that's where the idea is from. I like Level Up Your Leftovers. We could keep calling it that. So you tell me in the comments what you think this should be called. I'm going to continue doing this type of segment because It requires no planning. I just wing it, and that's the best way to learn how to cook, continue to develop my skills, also just have fun, because it doesn't require extra planning. And I just gotta grease my wheels up more for the technical shit because I'm exhausted from trying to shoot that, or from shooting that. And I wasn't recording audio before, and I wasn't recording that before, and it was just a mess. It's a hot mess, and my kitchen is steaming, and the windows are foggy, and I gotta go. And I gotta eat this hot soup in this hot apartment. Thanks for watching. Go find me. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm online, hotforfoodblog.com. I have the paid member blog. I've got 2 best-selling cookbooks. I've got ebooks you can buy. I've got it all. Support what I do if you love what I do. I've been here doing this a long time, and I literally feel like that was like the first time I've ever shot a video again. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.